We're talking Kyler Murray trade here on NFL Daily because things are not going great in Arizona. It's the gif of the guy surrounded by fire sipping his coffee saying, this is fine. That's where things are at with Arizona and Kyler Murray. Murray reportedly will not play for the Cardinals without a new deal. Is it a bluff? Is it not? Who knows? It ain't good for Arizona. His agent submitted an offer to the Cardinals, but pulled it off the table after there was really no response, no counteroffer from the Cardinals about what they were looking to do there. So now, with the way the NFL has worked this year, it's trade rumors SZN baby. I think the Cardinals are hesitant to pay Kyler because he struggled down the stretch this year. He was playing at a borderline MVP level his first 8 games. 72.7% completion rate, but that falls off to 6.41. His yards plummet in one fewer game, and not the difference enough to justify having one fewer game. The rushing yards did go up. He was without DeAndre Hopkins, but quarterback struggles without his number one receiver. Isn't that kind of a red flag too? The touchdowns plummet. The turnovers are pretty consistent, and he fumbled a lot despite recovering all, I think it was 12 in the end. And oh, by the way, you can assume Kyler wants a bag. He saw what Deshaun Watson got. He saw what Josh Allen got, what Derek Carr got on a per-year basis. I would bet all of my money Kyler probably wants $43 to $47 million per year. And that is a lot for a player who, at this moment, hasn't really proven himself as a legitimate franchise QB. Despite being the number 1 overall pick, having the upside to do so, he has not arrived in the same way Josh Allen has quite yet. So what do you think? What is the percent chance the Cardinals trade away Kyler Murray? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section right now. I've got 10 destinations for Kyler. At number 10, it is the Houston Texans. And they're in a bit of a weird spot where they, of course, dealt away Deshaun Watson, but I think they want to give Davis Mills, owner of Mike Glennon's neck, a shot. He impressed as a 3rd-round pick this past year for Houston. I was surprised by how well he ended up playing. The team, I think, wants to play him. When it comes, by the way, to the Kyler Murray trade value, we know what Deshaun Watson went for. 3 firsts, a third, and 2 fourths. I don't think it would be that expensive for Kyler Murray. Maybe it's 2 firsts and change. Maybe it's just 3 firsts or 2 firsts and a third, something along those lines. I don't think he's proven it as much as Deshaun Watson from an on-field standpoint. But any team acquiring him would assume he's their franchise guy. So it would be expensive. Number 9, the Detroit Lions. You could move the number 2 overall pick to get Kyler Murray. Cardinals can get probably maybe Jared Goff back in the deal, right? Because the Lions have no franchise QB. They have 2 first-round picks this year. The reason why they're slow, despite having the cap space and the draft capital to pull this off and having a need at QB, is this team ready to go all in right now? Or would they rather wait a little bit to get that high-paid, expensive franchise guy, build the roster a bit more up around them? That's a fair question to ask, I think. So what do you think when it comes to Kyler Murray? Where will he play in 2022? This question is the pinned comment on today's video. So get the ad break on YouTube. I want you to take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know where you think Kyler plays this upcoming season. Number 8, the New York Football Giants. Kyler could work really well in a Brian Dable-led offense / Mike Kafka-led offense. Daniel Jones is back as the assumed starter. The Giants have 2 top 10 picks. Could Arizona turn down 2 top 10 picks this year for Kyler? At least it's a good package to start with, right? And I'll make this note. Yes, they brought in guys like Sam Howell and I think it was Malik Willis. It has been suspiciously quiet around QBs for the Giants. Almost too much. So I don't think they're a top contender. If they wanted to be aggressive, though, they have the assets to make it work. Number 7, the Seattle Seahawks. And yes, they just gave away the farm for Russell Wilson, who, he didn't want to be there. This team also has one of the worst quarterback rooms in the NFL. Drew Lock, Geno Smith, Jacob Eason. That's bad, man. You feel a lot better about Kyler Murray than those three guys combined, even if you add up all their stats, I think, in their NFL career. Like, it's Kyler's way better. The question for Seattle is, are they rebuilding, which I think they are a little bit, or do they want to have a new franchise QB in Kyler Murray and still try to win with the mostly same core that struggled without Wilson last year, at least amid injuries and just kind of overall? The big question here, and why the Cardinals, I think, have not yet paid Kyler, is he really a franchise guy? There are some leadership questions as well around him. Moody Murray, as I call him sometimes. Is he a franchise QB? Why for yes and for no? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers at number 6. Yes, they have Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, cool. They have been linked heavily to draft quarterback prospects this year, and Trubisky, I'm sorry to his truthers out there, and I guess the Mason Rudolph truthers too, is not a franchise guy. He's not, all right? The question for the Steelers is, would they spend the cap and the draft picks? You can trust them to keep the cap hit low, don't get me wrong there, but you're committing a lot of money to Kyler Murray when you're kind of taking a year to somewhat reset your cap as the Big Ben contract fully comes off the books all the way. Maybe. I think if you think Kyler's your guy, if you're Pittsburgh, aren't you hoping Malik Willis is what Kyler is right now? Right? Maybe you take the sure thing over the unknown as a QB prospect. NFL Daily is also on Rumble. Exclusive content like Wednesdays, this coming Wednesdays, NFL Daily After Hours. Go follow us at rumble.com/NFL Daily with that link in the comments section and in the description. Number 5, the Philadelphia Eagles. They are in a very unique spot of having a maybe sort of potentially franchise guy who's not as good as Kyler, of course, in Jalen Hurts. For now, Philly is giving him a chance to be the guy. But I think the reason why they dealt one of those first-round picks this year was to get one next year and have extra draft capital to go move up and get somebody, if needed, next year. If you think Kyler's a better player than Hurts, which I do, and he's and can be your franchise guy, send Hurts and picks to Arizona. In terms of the packages going to the Cardinals, that one's not that bad. Number 4, the Tennessee Titans. This would be a Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford trade, although I would argue that Goff and Stafford were further apart than Tannehill and Murray could be to an extent, right? Murray's got a lot of upside, right? Tannehill's not a bad QB. He's not. But I wonder how much further Tennessee can get with him. So if you can send Tannehill and picks to Arizona to get Kyler Murray, be aggressive, man, A.J. Brown, Murray, Derrick Henry, that's fun. Is it enough? We'll find out. Hypothetically, of course, in the end. Now, we'll be live for the entire 2022 NFL Draft right here at Chat Sports. Unlike ESPN, NFL Network, etc., we'll also discuss every single pick as it happens, if not before it happens. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now. The next and final top 3 teams on this list have one thing in common beyond being NFC South squads. They were the 3 runner-ups to land Deshaun Watson. They wanted a QB, and it didn't happen. So at number 3, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, their issues are that they have some draft capital, but that team is bad right now. And that's a tricky balance to juggle between you're trying to rebuild. You don't want to lose your job as an organization. If you get Kyler Murray, you feel better about your quarterback options. Right now you got Marcus Mariota and a tight end. Felipe Franks is not a QB. He's like a special teams tight end gadget guy, kind of like Taysom Hill, but he's way bigger, I guess. Mariota is not a franchise guy. We all know that. The question is, would Atlanta, with needs everywhere, be willing to give up all those picks? They were for Deshaun. I'm not so sure they would be for Kyler. Number 2, the New Orleans Saints on this list. The Saints were all the way in for Deshaun Watson, and despite what the cap space truthers might tell you, they've actually got a lot of money available right now, and they've got 2 first-round picks. This is a team that is always willing and able and prepared to be ultra-aggressive. They would have no qualms if they believe in Kyler to move 2 first-round picks and or more to go get him. They are an aggressive team, and I respect the hell out of them for it. So in the end, before we get to number 1, you might know what it is by now. You might be able to do process of elimination here. What do you think the Cardinals end up doing with Kyler Murray? Type T for they're going to trade him. Type P for they're going to pay him. Or type W for they're going to wait. They're going to call his bluff and see if he holds out of camp, etc. Make your predictions for me right now in the comments section. Number 1, the Carolina Panthers. Now, this would require number 6 overall and a lot more, make no mistake about it. But I don't think any team in the NFL is more desperate for a quarterback than Carolina. Sam Darnold, he is not it. We can stop acting like he is. Carolina is light on draft picks, though. That makes this a bit tricky. Would they just move future ones? Probably. Desperation makes teams do sometimes crazy things. If a team trades for Kyler before the draft, I'd say Carolina makes the most sense. So one time through quickly, our top 10 Kyler Murray trade destinations. Number 10, the Houston Texans. Number 9, the Detroit Lions. 8, the New York Giants. 7, the Seattle Seahawks. Number 6, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 5, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 4, Tennessee. Number 3, Atlanta. Number 2, the Saints. Number 1, Carolina. All teams that are in desperate need or in just general need of having a different QB. And some of them could be more aggressive, some will not be. If you're worried about Kyler as a franchise guy, I get it, but we know how desperate teams are for good QB play. Look what Sam Darnold went for in a trade for the number 1 team, Carolina.